Hare Krishna. Today's topic is Ras, Bhakti Ras. Now Srila Prabhupada writes that this Ras we can also experience in this world. In fact, everyone is vying for this Ras, this taste. What is that? A person, he works day and night for his family, for his wife, for his kids, not just to provide them with some items or some food or clothing. No, he is waiting for that exchange of sweetness, that smile on their faces, which will give him satisfaction. Similarly, wife also serves the family for that same Ras. But that Ras is within this material world. That means it will dwindle over a period of time. And as this body winds up, death comes, this Ras will end. That means it is temporary. And the third point is, it is based on our selfish interest. If I am not getting satisfaction, then I will get frustrated if I am not getting any feedback. While on the other hand, we have this Bhakti Ras, which is the Ras of the spiritual world. And how is this Ras? By giving happiness, to the Lord, the devotee experiences bliss in his life, although he may be suffering in his life externally. So hence it is called Amrit, Bhakti Ras Amrit Sindhu, the ocean of this nectar of devotion. Never ending. It doesn't end even with our death. That relationship, that taste continues to our next life also. And it is not based on our selfish interest. It is for the pleasure of the Lord. So now we have to see whether this Ras, Bhakti Ras, actually exists, or are we contemplating it? Is it mentioned in the scriptures anywhere? So this Ras is mentioned actually. This is mentioned in Nectar of Devotion also. And Srila Prabhupada also writes in 𝗪 Upanishad 2.7.1. 𝗪 Upanishad, it is said, Raso Vahi Saha, describing Krishna. Who is Krishna? Krishna is that taste, that Ras himself. Raso Vahi Saha. He himself is Rasa. Akhil Rasamrita Murti. First shloka of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. Raso Vahi Saha, Rasam hi evavyam, labdhva anandi bhavati. And after tasting that Ras, we will get bliss in our life. Because he is made of Anandmaya Abhyasat. Vedanta Sutra writes 1.1.12. Anandmaya Abhyasat. Because he is made of this Anand. Sat Chit Anand. That's why when we associate with him, we automatically become happy. And in Atharva Veda also, this Rasas, like Rupa Goswami also mentions, there are 5 primary Rasas and 7 secondary Rasas, which we will discuss later. So these Rasas are also mentioned in Atharva Veda. And we see in the south, there were these Alvars, there were the 12 Alvars, and they have written Divya Prabandham. So there also, this exchange of Rasas, this has been mentioned. And our Acharyas also, Rupa Goswami is writing about Rasas. Jiva Goswami, who has written a commentary on this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita 𝗙𝗍. So he is also writing, Rase Saras Chamatkaraha. What is Rasa? He says Rasa is the essence of all philosophy. The essence. We are reading, we are getting knowledge from everywhere. But what is the goal of that knowledge? What is the essence? Essence is this Ras. And if we revert this word Ras, it comes Sar. So now we know that this Ras does exist actually, as mentioned in the scriptures. And why are we understanding this? Actually, there is very important philosophy which comes out from this point, that when there is rasa, so there is some adan pradan, there is some exchange. That means when we are present, then simultaneously some other person is also present, then only there can be some exchange. That means, that is why Srila Prabhupada writes Supreme Personality of Godhead in every line of Bhagavad Gita. That this concept that he is also a person, but who is that person? Supreme person. And what is he doing there? He is waiting. He is waiting for us. He is giving us rasa. But if we are not doing devotion, he is giving the topmost thing. And if we are not doing devotion, bhaktya mam abhijanati, he says that do devotion to me. But if we are not doing devotion, then that means it is an aparadh. It is an offense against him. So this is a very important point. And another point, another principle which we can derive from this is that Acharyas explain, Srila Prabhupada also writes, that ras exists when there is some surprise element. Adbhut, chamatkar bharabhuva. One definition of ras is itself this, chamatkar bharabhuva. There is some element of surprise. That means some virodhabhas or contradiction actually in the existence of Lord. What is that contradiction? That that Lord, that Krishna, who is served by thousands of Lakshmis, he is stealing butter like a poverty-stricken person. He, from whom Yamraj, he fears the order of Krishna, and that same very Krishna is running, fearing the stick of Yashodhama and crying. But that is devotion, because that is giving pleasure to him. He is Atmaram, but simultaneously he is running a family, he is maintaining a family. He seems to be maintaining a family. Janma karma cha me divyam. So this is the surprise element. And why this surprise element? Because Lord wants to experience, because everyone calls him Supreme Personality. So he also wants to taste that nectar. And that's why he sometimes becomes subordinate to his devotee to increase his pleasure. And that's why we see in Bhagavatam 10th canto, Shukdev Goswami says, Bhritte Vashyata. Bhritte means servant and Vashyata means under the control of the servant. Who is that Krishna? He who comes under the control of his servant, of his devotee. But Srila Prabhupada writes here very beautifully that he doesn't come under the control of his devotee. He comes under the control of the love of his devotee. Devotional love. So that is devotion. And with this sentence, Srila Prabhupada, he says that those who want to merge in the existence of God, so for them it is, they do not want to serve the God, but for devotees, merging in the existence of the Lord is like kevalam narakayate. It's like going to hell, because we do not want to merge with Lord, we want to serve Lord. So this was Bhritte Vashyata. And also another term comes from for Krishna, which is Vimukti Dat. Vimukti means special, Vimukti, special liberation. What type of liberation? That even after liberation there is existence of a devotee. And what is that existence? That dealings, to enter into his pastimes, to give him enjoyment. That is special liberation. That is a special level. That is called Bhakti Prem. So, and why are we understanding all these things? Because unless and until we understand this exchange of rasas between the devotees, we will not be able to appreciate the dealings between Radha and Krishna and the gopis and Krishna. And unless and until we understand those feelings, we respect those feelings, then how are we going to serve Radha and Krishna? So, to know the very goal of our existence, we have to understand these rasas. That's why we are discussing these rasas. And we have to enter into a different realm altogether. We cannot get disturbed by this material world. If we are getting disturbed by this material world, that means we will not be able to enter into that realm. All these scriptures are meant for us to lead us to somewhere else. We are not memorizing these things. We have to live these things. That's why we have this varnashram, because we have to live with devotees. We have to understand these things. We have to appreciate these things. This is not to take any picture. We have to live such a life. This is called Vrindavan, means village life. And how to achieve this? How to achieve this rasa? Tatra laulyam api ekamulyam. Desire. Just one price we have to pay, that we have to desire. We have to desire to associate with devotees. Such devotees. And how we will know that we have that desire? Simultaneously, we have to disassociate ourselves from this material world. If we have this liking for this material world, if we are making plans 10 years, 5 years, 10 years for us in this material world, that means we want to live in this material world. While on the other hand, we should have desire that I have to leave this place. 𝗍𝗆𝘆𝗆𝗆 Bharat Maharaj, he left this place like a toilet. So that desire we have to sprout. That desire should sprout within us. So that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our Acharya, he says, Jivana hoilo shesh, that very little life is left. Jivana hoilo shesh, na bhajilo rishikesh. Na bhajilo rishikesh. Bhakti vinoda upadesh ek bar naam ras matare. That at least once we should raise our hands and we should say that I na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagatish kama. That I do not want money, I do not want sundari, no. I do not want any followers, no. Not so many likes, not so many followers, no. I want just to be with you. And that's why there is this early morning chanting. That is the best time to get a glimpse of this rasa. Get up early in the morning, chant alone, exclusively for Lord. That time you will get a glimpse of this rasa. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.